Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Big Yard Reasonings with Linval Levy. Thank you for watching, thank you for liking, subscribing, and for sharing my videos. I appreciate it. Just continue to watch, like, and share. Now, what I want to talk to us today about, or reason with us today about, is problem solving. Now, when I was a little boy, about age 7, I remember going to spend some time. We normally go to spend time with friends and relatives when we have holiday breaks. Now, I usually go and spend the summer holidays with my godmother. Now, on this particular year in the summer, I went and were there. Now, at my godmother's house, he has like his grandsons and other um, godsons. He had only boys as her child. She has only boys for her children, and then she adopted other boys. So she liked raising boys. So it's very strict, very very strict. Now, this year when we were there, we decided that we were going to play cows. They had a lot of cows, and so we went into the bushes, and they tied me also. They tied a piece of string around my neck, and they tied me to a tree. And so after they tied me to the tree, and I'm not sure what happened, but after a while, I found myself all alone in the bushes. So they left me. They left me in the bushes. They forgot all about me. And so when I realized what was happening, I started pulling on the string. I started tugging on the string to go away. And then the string it had gotten so tight around my neck that I was choking. I was literally hanging. And I could hardly speak, and so I'm there calling out for Raymond. Raymond was the eldest of the group, and I'm there saying, Raymond, 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 Raymond. And somehow seemed like they heard the sound, they heard me, and they came back looking for me in the bushes. And so they found me, and they cut the string, and they had a good laugh. They had a good laugh. But then what struck me when I got older and I looked back, and I'm saying, but I don't understand what happened. Why didn't I lose myself? My hands were free, and my feet were free. So I could have lost myself. But then apparently I took on the character of the cow. I became so helpless. So I just fell right into character. And I looked back, and I said to myself, no, that was a problem solving issue. And so that brings me to the point that we need to learn to solve problems. We need to learn to problem solve, and especially when we find ourselves in certain situations, we need to learn how to think on our feet, and how to think in the moment, and how to look for solutions for issues, solutions for problems, instead of throwing our hands up and give up, because that's what I had done. It seemed as if I had given up, and so I just started pulling on the string, and the string started getting tighter around my neck. So it was a good thing that they were close by, because I became so helpless. And that is exactly what sometimes people do. They become so helpless. And so we persons take on the position of um, learned helplessness. And so have not learned to solve their own problems or their own find solution for issues or different situations that they may be facing. And so even in the workplaces, when you go to work, when somebody is hiring you to work, they are expecting that you are going to come in their organization with some amount of problem solving skills. So if you meet upon an issue and you're working, now many times employers want to know that you are able to work on your own initiative, meaning that if you meet upon a situation, you don't have to call them. You can at least try to solve the problem on your own. And this is the way of the world now. What persons want, they want persons who are able to think, persons who are able to solve problems, persons who are able to come up with solutions. 'Cause sometimes, um, what persons do, they mainly identify problems. So they look for problems sometimes in every situation. Sometimes when you come up with a solution, they find a problem to that solution. And so sometimes you never leave, you never move from the issue, you never move from the problem. And so what we have to do is develop problem solving skills. And this is one of the reason why the world and especially our country is in the state that it is in now in terms of the the crime situation and the violence and so on, because persons are not able to work out their problems. They're not able to work out their issues. And so they resort to violence because they're not able to solve their problems in an amicable way. And so the solution for them is to just get rid of you or get rid of the person. You see? And that is not really solving the problem. That creates another problem. Right? And then it has so many ripple effects because so many persons are affected when this happens. And so one of the things that we have to do is to, especially as parents, we have to teach our children to be able to problem solve, teach them to work out their solution, their situations. And one of the things that we need to do as well. See, sometimes when our children find themselves in certain situations, parents usually just run to their rescue. But what we can do is to develop in them that type of resilience, that type of problem solving skills by allowing them to work it through first before you step in. But you're watching them. It's not like you're not neglecting them, but you're watching them from where you are, from the position that you are in. And if and then you can help them through, you can walk them through the solution instead of telling them what to do. And it's the same thing with students at school, and that is why I guess they have been changing the examination to help students to be able to problem solve, right? To think on your feet and to learn to work out situations. All right. Now, so we have to develop our problem solving skills and abilities. All right. Now that takes me now to a different point. Now, who remember when, I guess the persons who remember this are persons who are as old as I am and older. You remember when you had measles? These young people these days, they don't know what measles, they don't know what that is. But when we had measles as children, our mother used to make tamarind bush bath, and so they would put us in the tamarind bush bath, and they'll bathe us with that, and that would get rid of the measles. The same thing when you had mumps, they would tie a kerchief around your jaw like that with ashes in it. And if the ashes is too hot, the ashes burn you. Some persons have scars to show even today of where the hot ashes burnt them, right? And then who remember when you had a pain, you had stomach ache or belly ache, or we say pain of belly, and your parents or your mother or your grandmother, they would take out some of the kerosene oil from the lamp and they would heat that and rub it around your navel, and that should get rid of the pain and belly. All right. Now, or the colic, if you had colic, I don't know, none of some of you know what colic is, but colic is when um purges, you eat too much, you eat everything, right? And when you eat everything, it upset your stomach, and when you belch, it smells. And so they used to do that. They used to take the hot kerosene oil, the burnt kerosene oil, they would say, and then rub it around your navel, and that should get rid of it. All right, and it should cause you to belch and bring up the gas. All right, and who remember when you had a boil, and they would get a leaf from a pepper tree, and they would heat that over the lamp or so on, and they will put some Vaseline or castor oil on the boil, and then they'll put the pepper leaf over it, and then they said allow the that should allow the gut, they call it, that should allow the gut to come out of the boil, right? And so we see that they had their way of solving their issues, because those days doctors weren't so popular. Nowadays we have doctors dime a dozen. Now, who remember this one? This one, to me, I found it really funny. Now, when the babies have a hiccup, they would pull a piece of string out of the clothes, put it in their mouth, and they wet it, and then put it on the baby's forehead like that. And I assume that should stop the hiccup. I'm not sure what is the rationale behind it. I'm not sure what is it or what works. But I am assuming that they thought that would work. And when the babies say they choke, they would blow in the baby's mouth. And this one is so funny. Now, when the babies, after they feed the babies, and they say they put them on their shoulder, and they start knocking the babies back. Knocking the babies back, say, oh, I want the burp in the baby, or they start rubbing. Now, this one I can understand, because sometimes when I feel like I have gas, then you rub the area, and then the gas comes up. But those older persons. They found ways and means of solving their problems. And sometimes you may think that there's no method to their madness, or it may seem foolish, but then to them it worked, and that was their solution to their issues. Now, another thing I remember, when, let's say our dog or the pig, they say the dog go out and they got poisoned, and they come back and they say that they are foaming at the mouth. Now what we do would normally have the busy, the kola nut is the correct name, but we call it busy. So you'd get that, grate it, put it in some water, and you would drench the dog with it. And or we cut off the end of the dog's tail, and that should get rid of the poison. Same thing for the pigs. Sometimes, when our parents, when they grate the cassava, and so they wring that, and they'll get the cassava water. That is what they use to make starch, to starch our uniform, or to starch clothes for us to wear, to iron. But they'll put that out in the yard. Now if the pig gets away and drinks that, then they get poisoned. And so we'll do the same thing. You would drench them with the busy, and they'll be well again. Right? And so these are some of the things that these persons found ways and means of working out their issues, of solving their problems. And this is one of the things that we have to develop too. You see, we have to develop the problem solving skills, find ways of means of making things work, of making life better for us. You see, and instead of fighting each other and just getting at each other, let us find ways and means of amicably or to amicably resolve our problems. All right. So let us think about that. And when I remember when we were little as well, and when we got home from school, and this one used to be so hot. You get home from school hungry. We say hungry like dog. And when you get home, that's when they call you to go to the shop. They give you the money to go and buy the stuff to cook for dinner. And then they are telling you, don't let me spit on the ground and let dry before you come back. That means don't stop on the road. You need to get to the shop quickly, buy the stuff to come back. Sometimes when you come from school, we have to go look wood to cook the to cook the dinner. No, that gets you real upset. But that was it. Sometimes some parents they have to go work first to get the money to buy dinner for that day. And that was how difficult life was or is for some persons, even um, today. But in general, though, many persons are way better off than back then. Even though persons then used to ensure that they used to be more resourceful, because they basically they planted what they ate. So the food, the potato, whatever it is, they used to plant it. Right? And so we we never generally go hungry anyway, because you had fruits. Some form of fruit was always in season, and so you always have that to look forward to, right? But I want to just encourage us though to help the younger persons to resolve issues, help them to solve problems, and to live peacefully with each other. All right. So I'm going to close there until next time. I want to sleep, but I really had to do this. All right. So you take care. Continue to like and subscribe and share the videos. God bless you. See you next time. Walk good.